Guardians Volume 3 is out this week, so let's talk about the Guardians' future in the MCU. I definitely think after Guardians 3, we'll see a new roster of the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of get assembled with more of like an Infinity Watch influence. We saw Star Fox and Pip the Troll in the end credit scene of Eternals. I forget that that's a movie. And honestly, I think we'll see those two team up with Adam Warlock and more to land a new roster. So let's get into the books here. The first one here is it's a more of a reach, but it's a kind of character I could see them maybe having on a board somewheres. Maybe a out the door James Gunn influence. But the Defenders number 28 is the first full appearance of Starhawk. His first cameo is in 27. This is an underrated hero from the Bronze Age who not only was a major member of the Defenders, but works perfectly on the Guardians lineup. He's super underused. He's not really in a whole lot of books. And we see him return to the main Marvel comic universe continuity. And it's only given, hopefully he'll land on the big screen. But, $10 to $30 is kind of what this book goes for raw right now. 9.4 lands you only at $100, so it's a super undervalued book. 9.6, it's kind of go up a little bit, but this is a book that if you can find it for $20 or less raw, and it's a nice copy, maybe $10, $15, not a bad choice. And the 27's also relatively pretty cheap. Silver Surfer Annual number 6 is first appearance of Jedis Vel Legacy, being the son of Captain Marvel. And a major player in the 90s cosmic stories, excluding the events, of course. I'm kind of shocked. This is still kind of a dollar bin finder. It goes for a little more. But same thing like Marvel for the Avengers Forever 1 and 2 being the cameo and first full appearance of the iconic cosmic form. Both still in dollar bins as well. It's kind of crazy to me. And this is sort of a no-brainer. I mean, and Silver Surfer Annual number 6 was polybagged, had a card in there, which makes this to be a hard 9.8 to find out in the wild. Really high 9s, it could be a pain sometimes in this one. And this one, retails anywhere from, $1 to $10. And, they're out there. That's just the thing to keep an eye out for, your LCS, at your flea market and stuff like that. Go to some shows in your area. I'm sure you'll find one. It's worth the hunt. A 9.8 it's a little inflated, but a 9.6 is around $70. But I'd find a raw copy for the cheap. There's another book where Jedis Vel could definitely be a character. I'm not solely convinced that he's even on a lineup anywhere for the Guardians, but it's a really cheap cosmic key, and I feel like at $1, $5 or whatever you spend on it. It's got an outside chance. Now, Captain Marvel number 27 is first full appearance of Eros. I'd argue Iron 55 is just full, but the community has decided that's a cameo because it's a book you can't pump and dump. It really changed like a year, 2 years ago. But, this really was ever regarded as a key prior, but this book has begun going cold yet again. Harry Styles signed a multi-picture contract for millions of dollars, and so we know the MCU's not going to waste them away. This is also second Drax and third Thanos, so this is a multi-level key. And recent bids on this book have gone for $20 to $25. And 9.0 just over $100. It's a lot cheaper alternative to Iron 55. I think that's the book to have, but on a different budget. It seems that Captain Marvel 27 might be the way to go. It doesn't seem like Eros is going anywheres. And, this is a book that was breaking $100, some months, maybe a year ago. And now if you get these copies for $20, I think it's worth rolling the dice on for that kind of a price. Now, Strange Tales 179 is first appearance of Pip the Troll. We also saw Pip the Troll with Harry Styles in the end credit scene. So we know there's even more to come about these characters. If you see one, you're probably going to see the other. And honestly, I think the two of them will be spearheading the next Guardians roster with an Infinity Watch sort of spin on it. I don't know if necessarily they'll have the stones, but it'll definitely be a similar lineup where you got your Adam Warlock, you have Eros subbed in there, you have Pip the Troll. I don't think you have Gamora or Drax, but you gotta, sub some guys in. And this book came way down. This is another one where, a year or two ago, this was, $80. And now you can find a copy for under $20 online. A 9.0 is under $100. It's definitely another cold key. It's worth just kind of keep an eye on. Canberra 217 is yet another. It's a cold key. It's first Marvel man, later regarded as Quasar. He would show up later in Hulk 234. And that's kind of become the bigger key of the two. But this is a little bit lesser known. You can find it underpriced in those cheap bins. It's also first Shield Super Agents, Blue Streak, Texas Twister, Vamp, and Marvel Man. It's a decent copyright might run you back about $20 or bids have gone for similar copies for $20 or less, and maybe $25 at the most. Randomly a buy it now one for $60 recently. But it seems $20-25 is where a copy is at, maybe a little bit less. High grade slabs are pretty pricey, but even a 9.2 is under $100. And consider this book from 1978, it's not too bad. But again, I think you just want to just find a raw copy of your LCS at those flea markets, wherever you find your books. It's always worth keeping in the back of your mind, because this is a book that's super overlooked. Not a lot of people think of Marvel Man, think of Quasar, and he also has no connection with Marvel Boy Novar, who's another kind of like this is a little bonus book here. We know he's coming to the MCU in the Marvels, and we could very well see him land on a Guardians roster. But I think that book's a little specced out, so that's the reason why I didn't make the list. But Captain America 217 is definitely a book to keep in the back of your mind. Now, a second appearance would be in Marvel 2-in-1 number 5, the second ever appearance of the original Guardians of the Galaxy roster, and of course, the later lineup's a lot more iconic thanks to the films. But, in this issue is still super undervalued. You find it way cheaper than you think, at least than I thought at first. The original lineup of the Guardians have also been heavily rumored and, leaked to be involved in this Guardians movie coming out this week. So we know they'll be part of the third installment. I don't know if they're going to be, going forward in any of these projects. But either way, it's still the second ever Guardians of the Galaxy. And you can get a copy from $10 to $20, which is kind of insane to me. A 9.8 has come down from $600 during the peak down to just $200. High grade slabs still go for around 100 plus, in the high 9s. But raw copies seem to be the way to go. Super, super undervalued book. Definitely something, again, to keep an eye out for at your LCS, because, maybe if you get a copy for $10-15 and it's a pretty decent copy, why not, I think it's worse books to bet on. And again, I'm not saying what to buy. I'm just kind of throwing the information out there. And it's just some stuff like that's really interesting to see how cold some of these books have been getting with the market peeling back. Like Justice Defenders number 5. This is first Vance Astrovic. Now he's a younger version of Vance Astro, who's a founding member of the original Guardians of the Galaxy lineup. This book is also the third ever appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy after Marvel Series 18 and Marvel 2-in-1 5. Vance is a character they've really never known what to do with. Kind of like the Guardians themselves. He is also known as Justice and Marvel Boy, which makes him the third Marvel Boy or man in this list here. But graded copies for this book could go, for about 100 and up. Once you break it 8.5, raw copies go for $15 or less. Probably, again, at a very affordable price. $15 or less isn't bad. And Vance Ashvik, although Vance Astro first appears in, the same first appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the character that would be later in the ongoing run, that ran through the 90s and all that. So this is a character a lot of people are more familiar with. And he is one of those ones that they kind of always try to reinvent a little bit. And it's something that maybe, he'll be a lineage character after we get to see the original Guardians of the Galaxy show up with Sylvester Stallone and all of them in this third installment. Maybe he'll be a remaining character. Who knows? It's still the third ever Guardians of the Galaxy, so it's another, early appearance. Avengers, it all begins here at number 0. This is the cameo of the Ultimates. Admittedly, this is a stretch, but it's one to keep an eye out for, on those dollar bits, because, sure, the Guardians roster looks like it'll be a mix of Infinity Watch characters, and possibly some characters from our Ultimates lineup. We've known there's been a lot of Blue Marvel, Adam Brashear rumors that's been going around. He's got a big profile for his appearance, but first team appearances are kind of underrated. This issue is also first came appearance of American Kaiju and the second Red Hulk. This is a dollar bin book with pretty much greatest cost 98. Maybe it's worth picking up. Maybe it's worth trying to submit. Now the pre-screens are not, there's no limit to pre-screen, and it's only $9 rejection. Maybe you find a couple copies, think they're 98, to pre-screen them. If they get sent back, oh well, maybe you wasted $9. Not the end of the world. But if you get that 98, maybe you'll sit on it. And who knows? I think the Ultimates are still going to be a part of the universe in any way. But I think it's something that just look at in relation to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like Ultimates #1 here, it's the first full team appearance of the Ultimates, and it's also the first appearance of Ao from the Dora Milaje. It's definitely a possibility for the Guardians roster to kind of see like a Guardians of the Multiverse spin on it with Ultimate concepts. Like again, like Adam Bashir, Monica Rambeau rolling around with Pip the Troll, Harry Styles, Eros in between dimensions with Groot or Cosmo, whatever. You need a couple cases to lead it from the first lineup just to kind of keep that Guardians name. It's another $10 or less book. Cover at 90 is again greatest cost, a little bit more or less. With a few variants, it can be kind of pricey, but again, it's another thing that could be overlooked by your private dealers or your LCS might not know. Maybe they don't know that this is that volume of the Ultimates. Maybe they don't know that's a book worth keeping an eye out for. And there's a couple of variants out there, so it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. It's also again, it's a multi-first appearance. Captain Marvel #16 is a book that, again, got hot a little while back. It was going for, I think, $50-$60 at some point, and now it's cooled off to more, $35, which is still, a little more than it was. Well, it used to be a $1 book, but in its first cave appearance of Philo Vel, this book got red hot. And as the more it comes down, this book kind of came down as well. We'll run you in 2022, $275 for a 9.8. We've now fallen down to a $73 last sale, early sale this year. And again, Raw's hit around $30. The first full appearance would be the next issue. It's still a couple bucks graded. Raw copies seem to land the same thing around that $30-$35 range. Some massive rumors are circulated around talking about Philo Vel landing on a new Guardians roster for Volume 3, which would make a lot of sense. And, another book throughout there would be like Moondragon. First Moondragon, she first shows up as Lady McEvil and later becomes Moondragon. She got the Daredevil 105 book. There's a lot of, smaller stuff like that. That I might do in another video about the Guardians. I left a couple books on my list here as I knocked down 10, keys worth talking about in relation to the next Guardians roster. But honestly, if you ask me, I think we're going to get an Infinity Watch type spin on the Guardians going forward. I think we'll have Adam Warlock go forward. And, maybe 2, at the most 3 characters will come from the roster that everybody knows and go forward in the MCU on the team. This way we can still kind of keep the name of the Guardians of the Galaxy and make a little bit of sense. Something like Groot. You could always have Groot there. You don't really have to pay the same guy. You don't have to worry about, James Gunn's guys walking out again. Because you can always do Groot. So, you got your Groot, whether or not Rocket dies, up in the air until the movie comes out. I don't want to spoil anything. But, you got guys like, maybe your Starhawk is going to land. Because we're going to have Adam Warlock coming out. We're going to have Eros and Pip the Troll. They're going to get roped into this somehow, I'm sure. Whether it's an end credit scene here or if it's not until the next film. Or next set of projects that we set that sort of thing up. Maybe Darkhawk shows up. Who knows? I think the speculative market will go insane if Darkhawk shows up. But either way, let me know down in the comments, who do you think will be on the next Guardians roster? As we know, James Gunn won't be involved. So who do you think will be, spearheading the future of the Guardians? Who is there other books I should have talked about? Should I have brought up the Daredevil 105 or the other Lady McEvil and Moondragon Keys? Is there, some characters I didn't think about? Let me know down in the comments below if this kind of video you like. Go check out. I've got a whole playlist of other Spec Talks. Got whole videos, all kinds of other stuff coming up. Follow me here on Facebook and Instagram for more daily content. I post on here every single day. I post full videos, once or twice a week, daily in October. And I got shorts coming up multiple times a day. I've got posts on Instagram and Facebook coming up all the time throughout the week. And join the Facebook group Fandoms Unleashed for an inside look at Connor's Comics. Polls about, the next videos coming up, all kinds of stuff like that. Great discussions, all kinds of different stuff. You can go in there and post yourself. That'll all be linked down in the description. Until next time, peace. Happy hunting.